Good morning, all the centers. So our next session is on mobile cloud computing by Aditya Bhardwaj. So he will deal with the mobile cloud computing topic and the research areas linked with that.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, all the centers. Myself, Aditya Bhardwaj, and I am regular research candidate over here. Today, in this session, we will discuss about mobile cloud computing, which is an emerging technology, and what are its real-time applications. Okay. Yes, I believe in one thing. Learning is not just restricted to listening. It is actively asking relevant question. So I request all the participants for session to be two-way interactive. If you face any query or any doubt, then you can pose me. Then we will have discussion session. So these are the agenda that we will discuss in today's session. Background for the session. After that, what is motivation for mobile cloud computing? Then what is mobile cloud computing and why we are going for mobile cloud computing? After that, we will go in some background of cloud computing. What are deployment models of cloud computing? That means how you can deploy your own cloud. After that, what is architecture of mobile cloud computing? How it works? And then various real-time application of cloud computing. After a conclusion from the today's session, then discussion. According to the latest report published by Internet and Mobile Application of India, total number of internet user in India 350 million. And out of these 350 million, 150 million internet user are using their internet by using mobile handset. So you can see number of user who are using internet rather than desk from your PC, they are preferring more on cell phone. So cell phone is increasing, gaining the advantage in the market, and it is also more preferable rather than your desktop computing. Because while on the move, you can do your all the web application services. You can surf the internet while on the move by using your cell phone technology. Even you can see business through mobile devices. 69% employees they are preferring doing work by using mobile phone rather than going into the office. So on the home itself, you can do your all the office tasks. After that, people are preferring by using mobile cell phone for the internet in evening 73%, and for weekend purpose 51% employees or users are using cell phone technology or mobile phone for internet purpose. So just from this slide itself, you can get number of internet user, those who are using internet technology from cell phone, they are increasing. That means cell phone is gaining more advantage rather than your accessing the internet through your PC technology. So business is preferred over the PC for doing business. Like for sale purpose also, we are accessing Flipkart, eBay through cell phone itself. Even for banking purpose also, we are doing all the transaction through cell phone. So preference of user is shifting from your PC computing or desktop computing to cell phone computing for accessing the internet. From the research point of view, like normally we need MATLAB software. MATLAB software for what purpose? For image processing computing. So for image processing computing, as we all know, the, MATLAB is license-based software. So you need to purchase the license of MATLAB. And if you want to offer free software, then you can go for Scilab, which is open source software. And we all know that MATLAB is heavy software. Almost approximate dump of MATLAB is 3 GB. So what are the challenges for this? If you want to purchase MATLAB, then challenges faced by researcher or industry person. What may be the challenges? They need to get a good financial budget for purchasing expensive hardware and software, because MATLAB is costly software. Also, if you want to access MATLAB through your cell phone, that means you want to prefer cell phone for accessing your MATLAB. So, what may be the limitation of your mobile device? In human life, mobile device like a smartphone, tablet, although they are becoming essential part of a dream of information at your fingertips, anywhere, anytime. But when compared to conventional information processing devices, these mobile devices are lacking resources. So, solution for this: mobile cloud computing. That means if we compare with your cell phone, then something is there in your some limitation is there in your cell phone. Like there is limited battery lifetime. If you compute more heavy application, like we were talking about MATLAB, if you run MATLAB in your cell phone, then battery life will be degraded soon, and processing will be also slow for MATLAB image processing application. So there are some of the limitation of your cell phone that we cannot compare truly with your desktop PC. So in order to provide solution for this dilemma, there is a new concept of technology that is coming in the market, which is known as mobile cloud computing. So through mobile cloud computing, what you will do, you will use your cell phone just for getting the interface of your application, and all the computing will be done at cloud computing part. So now then whatever limitation we check for the mobile computing, they will be overcome by mobile cloud computing. So mobile cloud computing is nothing but it refers to infrastructure where both data storage and data processing happens outside of the mobile device. So mobile cloud computing applications move the computing power and data storage away from the mobile devices and into a powerful and centralized computing platform located in cloud, which are then accessed over the wireless connection based on thin native client. Now, what is thin native client? Basically, thin native client is we are purchasing laptop or desktop. They are known as thick client. Thick client means they are having their own RAM and own processing CPU power. So if you purchase thin native client, then it will not be having its own RAM for booting the operating system and its own processing power. So it will be acting just like a device for giving your GUI interface. Just for GUI interface, you can use your thin native client. So mobile cloud computing, nothing but it is combination of your two technology, mobile computing and cloud computing. Now there may be one doubt in your mind, why do we need mobile cloud computing? Because mobile devices face many resources challenges like battery lifetime, storage, bandwidth. So the application needs cannot be fulfilled by the limited resource of smartphone. Although phone is smart, but it is not smart in that terms that you can run any heavy application on your cell phone. It will be limited in terms of your CPU processing power, CPU life cycle required, and the bandwidth required by your by the application, and storage, because a cell phone is limited in storage. You cannot run application which require 3 GB storage like MATLAB we talked earlier on your cell phone, because for that you need heavy amount of RAM, and that can be fulfilled by only desktop computing, not by your mobile computing. So in order to overcome these limitations of mobile computing, because we need mobile cloud computing, in which your cell phone will be acting just for interface purpose, and all the computing will be transferred at backend at cloud service provider. For example, high-end applications in the fields of image processing and natural language processing (NLP) are compute intensive, and thus the phone is scarce resources. On the other hand, cloud has unlimited resources in terms of storage, processing power, and etc. So all the computing will be done at cloud provider, and your cell phone will be acting just for GUI interface. So you can test the environment of mobile computing as well as cloud computing, both technology at one hand through your mobile cloud computing solution. Cloud computing offers advantages to users by allowing them to use software, platforms, and infrastructure cloud provider at low cost and elasticity in an on-demand fashion. That means you can access the services of cloud based on your own demand. And mobile cloud computing provides mobile users with data storage and processing services in clouds, obtaining the need to have powerful device configuration like CPU need, CPU speed, memory capacity, etc. As all the resources are intensive computing can be performed in the cloud. So whatever computing or processing or memory will be required by your application, that will be done at cloud provider, and output will be displayed at your cell phone. So these are the some of the solution or advantages of cloud computing for mobile computing, that combinedly integrating, we are saying that this solution provided by cloud computing or mobile computing combined it is mobile cloud computing. Now there are a few reasons for using mobile cloud computing, like brain of your services in cloud. That means all the computing is done at cloud provider, and it is easier to share content and assets. After that, it is easier to maintain the data. After that, more immune to crash and deletion. Suppose if you are running your application on your local hand system, then there may be chances that it may crash, application may crash. So if you have not recovered the data, that data may go. Now, if you are using the cloud services, then benefit may be all these concerns of recovery of your data and recovery of your results that will go to cloud service provider. So you don't need to worry. You can just compute your application of the cloud provider, and results will be displayed through your cell phone. So you can run any heavy application on your cell phone by using cloud computing services. Now, before proceeding further for the mobile cloud computing, as we have already discussed, mobile cloud computing is solid integration of two technology, mobile computing and your cloud computing. So definitely we need to understand some few concept of cloud computing. What is cloud computing, and why we are using or preferring mobile cloud computing nowadays rather than your desktop computing. In cloud computing, the word cloud is used as a metaphor for the internet. Like usually what we do for the flowchart representation, in order to represent internet, we use cloud kind of symbol. That's why we are saying cloud is nothing but here application of internet for the computing purpose. So the phrase cloud computing is type of internet based computing where different services such as servers, storage, and application are delivered to an organization, computers and devices through the internet. In short, cloud computing is nothing but you are accessing the services of some of the companies like cloud service, which we normally known as cloud service provider, for running your application, and you are paying whatever amount of resources utilized by your device application for the cloud service provider. Whatever amount of storage, processing power, bandwidth utilized by your application, according to that calculation will be done and you have to pay the money. So costs are based on consumption like storage, CPU cycles, and there is no need to buy and configure new equipment, because definitely all these concerns will go to cloud service provider, and no software hardware maintenance required. Normally what happens if you are running any application, then definitely we need to purchase the license of that software, like we have talked about MATLAB. So in that case, what will happen? You need to concern about updation of your MATLAB, and you need to buy and configure MATLAB software. After you need to run the MATLAB on your desktop PC. And if you wish to run your MATLAB on your cell phone system, then there is a limitation on for your mobile phone. Limitation in terms of your bandwidth and limitation in terms of your limited battery lifetime, computing power, and many more. So if you are accessing MATLAB on the cloud provider, that means you are getting the MATLAB as a service from any of the cloud service provider, then all these concerns will go to service provider. You will just use MATLAB software for running your application, and whatever amount of time your application has consumed in terms of parameter like bandwidth, after that storage, after that CPU cycles, you have to pay according to that. So all these hardware, software maintenance updation, these concerns will go to cloud service provider itself. Now, why cloud computing? Now, why everybody is talking about cloud computing and many technology like big data, Internet of Things? Because in traditional software, what happens? You need to purchase the software, so you need to be concerned about license of the software. Now, what may be the hurdles once you purchase the software? If your software was used just for one application, and in future for another application, if you are not using your software, that means that is dead. So whatever amount you have spent for the purchasing of software license, that is not no further utilized in future. So to overcome this limitation also, what you can do, you can use cloud computing services like pay as you go, no maintenance cost required. Normally, definitely what happens if we are going in some new city, we don't buy a new vehicle over in that city. What we do, we hire some cab or taxi for our services. So based on our requirement, you just hire the services or application or computing power from another company that is known as cloud service provider for your purpose. Now, there may be some confusion. What is the internet and cloud? Internet is basically medium for accessing your cloud services. So internet is a global network of billions of interconnected computers around the world, and it offers many resources and services such as World Wide Web and email. WWW World Wide Web offers users access to trillions of hyperlinked documents and focuses more towards offering all of the resources over the internet. So cloud computing is a direct result of this initiative, which offers many resources such as software, platforms, and infrastructure as services. So internet is used just a medium for accessing the services from cloud provider, and all the computing will be done at backend at cloud service provider. So you are just accessing the services. So without internet, there is no meaning and no sense of cloud computing, because definitely if you need to access services or from the remote cloud provider, you need internet service. So in order to use the concept of cloud computing, internet must be running at your own device. These are the component for cloud computing. Clients is there. Clients means user, and data center is there. Data center is collection of servers where the application to which you subscribe is houses. So data center are basically heavy end server running at cloud service provider. So all the computing is done at data center part, and after that internet. So these are three components for cloud computing. Users must be there who is going to access the services of cloud. After that, cloud service provider must be there, and the services of cloud provider will be running at data center. After that, you need internet connectivity for accessing the cloud. You can access, there is no such requirement that you need high-end bandwidth for accessing the cloud. You can use the cloud services just by using a minimum 256 kbps speed. So just by this speed itself, you can get cloud services. So you don't need any good amount of bandwidth. Just from the minimum bandwidth itself, you can access all the cloud services. These are some of the essential characteristics or features of cloud computing on-demand self-service. That means you can access the cloud services based on all your demand. Suppose you are running MATLAB on your you wish to run MATLAB on your mobile phone. Then for MATLAB you need computing power. Suppose you need some amount of RAM, so you can access that amount of RAM from the cloud provider, and we can access amount of computing or CPU cycles required for running your MATLAB from the cloud provider. So it is on-demand service. One more example, if you are running any application on your desktop and immediately you need 2 terabyte of hard disk and 500 GB RAM, and for processor which is having a i7 processor, your desktop cannot fulfill this requirement, so you can hire these services from cloud provider. So it is on-demand self-service. Ubiquitous, a second characteristic, ubiquitous network access through internet base. Through your login account from the cloud service provider, you can access the cloud services anywhere at any time and from any device. Just you need internet connectivity. Another one characteristic is resource pooling achieved by multi-tenant application architecture. Resource pooling basically says that cloud service provider, they have designed their architecture in such a manner that over one data center itself, they are providing the multiple layering of services. So each user is isolated in each and every layer in order to prevent from interference. So there is security also, and their cloud service provider are efficiently utilizing the resources which are configured in their own hand. After a rapid elasticity and scalability. Suppose if you are running any application or a project over your PC and immediately you need high amount of bandwidth and computing power or high amount of RAM for running your project, then on the cloud service provider, you can easily scale that amount of RAM. If earlier, if you are using 4 GB RAM, then you can easily scale from 4 GB to 10 GB, 10 GB to 20 GB, or directly from 4 GB to 1 terabyte RAM also. So it is easily scalable, and scalability features and flexibility also there if you are using cloud services. Last one characteristic, major services with pay per use. Like normally what happen if you have hired any cab for your journey, then you have to pay according to that only. In the same fashion, in for cloud service provider also, whatever amount of resources you have consumed over the cloud for running your projects, you have to pay according to that only. Now there are some of the big titan in market which are known as cloud service provider, like Google is there, Amazon is there, after that Microsoft is there. So first one big titan of who develop or initiate cloud is Amazon, and cloud developed by Amazon, it is known as Amazon EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. After that Microsoft also came into the market, and cloud developed by your Microsoft, it is known as Microsoft Windows Azure. Then in order to gain advantage or in the market, then Google also came into picture, and cloud developed by Google, it is known as Google Cloud. So all the cloud service provider, they are offering the services based on your requirement. So you can access any services, any software over this cloud service provider, and you have to pay the amount according to the resources consumed by you on this cloud service provider. Also, if you are running your application, then normally in cloud what happens, your application will be replicated in by default 3 replica factor. So if you are running your application on Amazon cloud and their data center in Sydney, then they are having a replica of client application over another data center also. like from one sending to Singapore and Singapore to USA. So that in case of any disaster, if there is any disaster in Sydney, then there may be recovery of application for the client. So later on, client cannot claim that there is no recovery of client application. So recovery also their fault tolerance is also there in cloud services, and each and every cloud service provider they are offering these services. As compared to your desktop computing, cloud computing also more or less cheap also, because whatever amount of resources you need for your application, you have to pay according to that only, rather than purchasing the software for each and every application. Now, in order to access, we will take illustration of Amazon Cloud. In order to access or in order to access the services of cloud, you need few credentials. First one, you need a valid email ID. After that, you need your credit card information. After that, you need your cell phone for the authentication purpose. So what normally what do you are having two flavors of services or two flavors of account subscription in each and every cloud service provider. One is free trial account and another one is for business purpose. So just for free trial account also you need to create 30 days trial by using your credit card, and $1 amount will be deducted from your credit card bank balance just for free trial also. Now, in future, if you want to further extend your free trial, then just by request to cloud service provider, you can extend your free trial. So, while accessing the cloud services, you need to be very precautious. Precautious in terms that once you have deployed your application over the cloud, like we have talked about MATLAB, once you have deployed your MATLAB application over the cloud, and you have done all the tasks, then you need to terminate all the instances of your application. Otherwise, billing will be continued at the backend. So these are some of the precautions that need to be taken care by each and every client or user who is going to access cloud services. Otherwise, unnecessary amount will be deducted from your account, and there will not be any notification also until unless you configure alert mechanism on the cloud service provider. So here we are going to see how you can access Amazon Cloud for the services. So you need to create sign in, or you need to configure your subscription account. After that, suppose if you want to, if you need Red Hat services, or if you need a Linux platform, from you are using Windows on your desktop and you need Linux platform. So immediately on desktop you cannot install Linux platform. You need to format your window on your desktop PC, or you need to dual boot your PC. So rather than dual booting or formatting your PC, you can access these Linux platform, any services from a cloud provider. So here we are seeing how you can access a Linux platform from these are some of the screenshot from Amazon Cloud. So once you have signed up for Amazon account, log into Amazon Web Services and click on My Account. After that, navigate to Amazon EC2. EC2 is basically Elastic Compute Cloud Console. So it is the console where you can launch any amount of resources, any kind of resources for your own purpose. So you just click on after the launch instance and select AMI. Basically, Amazon has configured many, like you can see Microsoft Windows Server is there, Amazon Linux AMI is there, Social Linux is there, Ubuntu server is there, and CentOS will be there, Red Hat will be there, Fedora will be there. So you can access any server just within a few seconds of amount. Like we have for the purpose we have access here Ubuntu server 14.04, and so click here if you will further access these cloud services. After that, select instance type. Instance is basically whatever resources or you are going to access on the cloud service provider. These are known as instance. So if I am going to access Microsoft Windows Server, that will be known as instance. If I am going to access Fedora Linux that will be known as instance. So choose instance type. There are many configuration of flavors of instance type within a Red Hat itself. What amount of computing or RAM of that Red Hat you require. Then configure number of instance like as we mentioned, we are setting up. Suppose we are setting up one or two node clusters. So please enter 2 as number of instance. Normally, if you are going to create a cluster of cluster of computer for your project or for your research purpose, then there will be hurdle of configuration at local hand. So you can just create cluster of system at cloud service provider easily, like we have seen here, just by inserting two number instance means how many systems you required. If I required two Ubuntu Linux platform at cloud provider, just by inserting two here, I will get two platform. If I will require my demand as a 10 Linux platform, then 10 Linux platform will be running for my purpose. Now billing will be according to whatever amount of resources or how many number instance you have configured or you have used for running your application. So billing will be according to that. Now it is asking about add storage. Minimum volume size is like 8 GB, but we have there for one application we have used 30 GB for instance. So you can configure any amount of size. It is basically RAM that you have configured for running your application. It is showing a instance description, give your instance name and description. Like in big data, we talk about Hadoop. Hadoop tool for running your big data application. So define security group. Security group for accessing your for accessing this instance from your desktop. After that, it is launching the instance review and launch instance. So these are some of the screenshots how you can access cloud services. Then instance is running. You can see here name of instance was Hadoop and instance type is t2.micro and availability zone is USA, US. So data center location is in US and instance state is nowadays running and public DNS, public IP that is given by cloud service provider to your instance. So just within a few second amount of time itself, you can get any amount of number of Linux, any services from cloud service provider just by a click of system. There are advantages of cloud computing like lower computer cost is there. You don't need a high power and high price computer to run cloud computing web-based application. After that, since application run in the cloud, not on the desktop PC, your desktop PC doesn't need the processing power or hard disk space demanded by traditional desktop software because your application is running on cloud service provider data center. So you need a device like you can access cloud services from your cell phone itself, from thin native client itself, from desktop computing, from desktop PC itself. So your client system is acting just as a device for accessing the GUI interface only. So all the computing will be done at your cloud. So when you are using web-based applications, your PC can be less expensive with a smaller hard disk, less memory, more efficient processor. So these are some of the advantages of cloud if you are using cloud services. Another advantage is improved performance. So computer in cloud computing system boot and run faster because they have fewer programs and processes loading into memory. Definitely, if you are running any application on your systems and there may be many files or many software configured installed on your system. So if you are going for cloud, then booting of operating system will be done at fast because that Linux or that Windows platform will be dedicated to one client only. Reduce software cost. Instead of purchasing expensive software application, you can get most of what you need for free. So most cloud computing application today, such as Google, you are definitely normally you are using Google Doc for storing your files and data. So better than paying for similar commercial software, which alone may be justification for switching to cloud application. So instead of purchasing any high-end license-based software, if you are going for cloud services, then it is a more better solution, because what happen today, if I am working on one application and I need MATLAB, so I will purchase MATLAB for my image processing application. Now later on, after 1 month, if this application is over and in future I am switching to another application, like students are coming from mechanical department, so they need CAD software. So I need to purchase CAD software. Now in future, if I am working on another application, then I need to purchase another software. So unnecessary, I am purchasing the software just for one application itself. So there is no use of that expensive software. Now, if you are switching to cloud service provider, then based on your demand of your application, you can access any kind of software, any kind of services from cloud provider. So use that software and services based on your requirement. After that, pay according to whatever amount of resources you have used. So these are advantages of cloud provider. That's why now business and working of researcher also, they are going to be shift from your desktop computing to cloud computing. Instant software update is there. Normally what happens, if we have purchased any software today, then in future we need to be concerned about updation of that software and hardware. Now, rather than purchasing the software, if you are accessing the cloud services, then what will happen? Your software updation, maintenance of software, configuration of software, all these concern will go to cloud provider. So what happened? Cloud provider is already handling all these precaution and concerns for updation of each and every software. That means at the cloud provider, each and every software and hardware is updated according to latest version, which is available in the market at today's time. So you don't need to be worried. User just can access the cloud services over the cloud provider. So when the application is web-based, update happen automatically in cloud provider and available the next time you log in into the cloud. So you will get the latest version of any software or hardware if you are going to access cloud services rather than your desktop services. When you access a web-based application, you get the latest version without needing to pay for or download and upgrade. So these are some of the advantages of cloud computing, that you don't need to be concerned about updation of software. You don't need to be concerned about purchasing of software, maintenance of software and hardware, configuration of software and hardware. All these facility will be provided automatically by cloud service provider. You just access the cloud services and run your application and pay according to whatever amount of resources you have used. Unlimited storage capacity is there in cloud provider. Like cloud computing offer virtually limited storage because they are having heavy end data center, and so whatever amount of storage you need for your project, you can access that amount of storage. So your computer current is 1 terabyte hard drive is small compared to 100 of petabyte available in the cloud. Normally we are talking about few 1 terabyte of hard disk on our local hand, and if you need any application which need few amount of terabyte for running purpose itself, so you need to extend the RAM and hard disk of your local system. So rather than going for that solution, if you are going for cloud services, then just in few amount of time you can access petabyte of RAM and hard disk available over the cloud. Increased data reliability is there. Unlike desktop computing, in which if hard disk crashes and destroy all your valuable data, computer caching in the cloud should not affect the storage of your data. As earlier in the few slides, we talk about replication factor, the replication concept. So in cloud, cloud provider are already taking the concern of backup of your data. If you are running your application and you have choose data center location as Sydney, then part of your application will be stored at data center which is located in another country also, like USA, UK, and many more. So if there is some disaster or there is some crash of your application in one of the data center, then easily cloud provider can recover your application data just in few amount of second from another data center which are located in another country. So there is no concern about crash of your data if you are using cloud services. So if your personal computer crashes, all your data is still out there in the cloud, is still accessible. And in a world where few individual desktop PC users backup their data on a regular basis, cloud computing is a data safe computing platform. As we all know, if there are some benefit and advantages of any computing technology or any technology, then there may be some limitation also. Limitation not in terms of any big hurdle, but a limitation in terms of definitely if you are accessing any services over the internet, then security is a major concern. Also, you require constant internet connection for accessing the cloud services. If there are frequent disconnection of your internet, then your application will be deployed partially over your device. So cloud computing is impossible if you cannot connect to the internet. Since you use the internet to connect to both your application documents, so if you don't have internet connection, you cannot access anything, even your own document. So it doesn't. So cloud computing doesn't work well with low speed connection. Low speed connection is minimum you require 256 kbps speed. So storage data might not be secure. With cloud computing, all your data is stored on the cloud. Question is how security is the cloud? So security is also concern when you are going to access cloud services that during the network is there any some attacker or hacker who is going to access your authorized data. So can unauthorized user gain access to your confidential data? So these are some of the flaws and concerns from user point of view before going to access cloud services. But practically speaking, from my own experience, if you are accessing cloud services, then security is already taken care by a cloud service provider. So your data is secure at cloud service provider because your data is stored not in plain text form, but it is stored in many encrypted form. Also, what cloud providers are doing for giving the security of data to user, they are dividing the user data in different segment of amounts. So different segments of data is stored over different data center. While the driven of the application now collectively it is computing and then result display. So security is not any big concern from a user point of view if they are going to access cloud services. Now, because of this session, you may be interested that how you can deploy, how you can develop your own cloud in your organization. For that, there are three flavors: private cloud deployment model, public cloud deployment model, and hybrid cloud deployment model. One by one, we will see what these technology are. Public cloud means services are delivered to the client via internet from a third-party service provider, which is cloud service provider. Like Amazon is there and Microsoft is there, Google is there. So these are three big titan of the cloud service provider. Now, apart from these big titan, Oracle is also coming with their own cloud. SP is also coming, and IBM has also gained the market for cloud provider. And cloud developed by this IBM is IBM Lumix. So if you are accessing cloud services of these cloud service provider, it is known as public cloud. Because cloud developed by these commercial organization, it is available to all the public users. So they need to just use these cloud services and pay according to that. So it is known as public cloud. Now there are concern or limitation of this public cloud is security is a major concern, because if you are going to access anything over internet, then security will come into place. Now, if anybody is saying or interesting that they don't want to use cloud developed by another company, and they are willing to develop their own cloud, so that is known as private cloud. So in private cloud, your organization can deploy or develop your own cloud. So these are the services managed and provided within the organization. Internally, you have developed the cloud for your own purpose. So there are less restriction on network bandwidth, because you have internally you have developed the cloud. So you don't need to be concerned about bandwidth. Fewer security is there, fewer security exposure and other legal requirement compared to public cloud. Definitely, if you have developed cloud within the organization, the security is not a concern, because now you are not accessing anything from the remote place, and you don't need to be concerned about the legal requirement which have to be fulfilled between user and commercial organization before accessing the cloud services. Now you may be thinking how you can deploy your own private cloud within your organization. So there are some of the tools that are available, like OpenStack tool is there. Basically, OpenStack is an open source tool through which you can deploy your own cloud. So for deploying your own cloud, you need networking, good amount of knowledge. After that, high amount of Dell data centers or Dell servers, Blade server that you need to purchase. After that, you need to create cluster of systems. Once you have created the cluster of system, and over this cluster of system, to provide the cloud environment, you need to deploy OpenStack open source software. Just deployment of this software itself is not sufficient for deploying the cloud, but you need to be configure a lot OpenStack for creating the own cloud. Now, based upon the requirement of user, public cloud is there. Public cloud, if you are accessing the cloud services of cloud provider, because of some limitation of public cloud and security was a major concern, because definitely if you are going to access anything over internet, security will come into place. And you go for private cloud, how you can deploy private cloud, we have seen through OpenStack tool. After that, there are some application or situation that you need to taste the flavor of public cloud itself and private cloud itself. So if you are thinking that part of application that doesn't need security, you can deploy that thing on public cloud, and rest of the applications that are highly confidential for the within the organization, that you can deploy within private cloud. So that means if you are using the services or testing the environment of public as well as private cloud, that is known as hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud is nothing but a combination of these services provided by private and public cloud, like ERP in private cloud and sales and email in public cloud. So data that doesn't need security, that you can deploy over public cloud, and data that is confidential for the organization that needs security, that you can use private cloud. So if you are using this combination of these integrated technology, that will be known as hybrid cloud. Now there are offloading technique concept in your mobile cloud computing, like if you are going to access MATLAB as a service over cloud service provider, that means MATLAB will not be running on your cell phone, but your cell phone will be used just for accessing the interface of MATLAB, and all the installation, configuration, processing of the application will be done at cloud cloud provider. So you are just accessing the computing power and accessing the result of your project over your cell phone. So in that fashion, there are some offloading technique. There are two offloading technique. One is fully offloading, and second one is partial offloading. So offloading basically making use of cloud resources to perform the smartphone task. So this is done by offloading either application completely or partially to the cloud. In fully offloading technique, completely offloading technique, what will happen if you are going to access MATLAB as a service, then total application will be deployed at cloud provider. But in if you are going to use fully offloading, then what will happen? Because total application is deployed over cloud service provider, so you need to be concerned about amount of payment that you will pay to cloud service provider. Because if you are running total application of the on the cloud, then amount of bandwidth and amount of network will be consumed more, so you billing will be more. Now, rather than using a completely offloading technique, if you wish that you need to offload just sub part of your application. Suppose I am using MATLAB. MATLAB is running on cloud provider, and over that MATLAB I am using running my project image processing project. So if I am offloading just submodule of that image processing application, so computing will be done for that submodule only at cloud provider, and for the rest module of your project, computing will be done at your own local system. That means at your own local mobile handset. So billing will be reduced. You will be paying according to the resources or amount of network bandwidth consumed by that submodule itself only. You will not be paying for whole application. So billing will be down in partial offloading, and if you are using completely offloading, then billing will be more. So from billing point of view, these are completely and partially offloading technique. As we have talked, mobile cloud computing is combination of these two technology, mobile computing and cloud computing. So how you can access cloud computing or your cell phone? Here you have seen below mobile computing is there, about that cloud computing is there. So basic architecture of mobile computing will be definitely used. That means your cell phone will be communicating with BTS, and BTS will be communicating with BSC, and BSC will be communicating with MSC. After that, if you are using cloud services, then domain of cloud computing will be used. So mobile devices are connected to mobile network via BTS that establish and control the connection and functional interface between network and mobile device. After that, mobile user requests are transmitted to service provider mobile network services. And in cloud controller process the request to provide mobile user with corresponding cloud service provider. Whatever, whichever cloud service provider you are using, whether you are using Amazon cloud, whether you are using Microsoft cloud, or whether you are using Google cloud. So over your basic architecture of mobile communication, cloud computing services will be delivered. So in that fashion, you can use mobile cloud computing service over your mobile computing. Oh, many of the cloud service provider, they are offering mobile cloud as a service. So if you if you later on, if you want to configure more regarding cloud computing service, how you can access it, then already built-in services there, like IBM is offering mobile cloud services, and for trial version also you can access, and for payment version also you can access. And cloud developed by your IBM companies, Bluemix cloud. One more thing, for commercial purpose, for business purpose, if you want to filter the cloud service provider, then Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, they are basically, their cloud is developed basically for commercial purpose. And for education purpose, if you want to use the cloud provider, then better you go for IBM, because IBM has developed their cloud according to the requirement of education industry. So you can find out mobile cloud as a service over IBM in IBM platform. Amazon is also offering Amazon Mobile Cloud Services through Amazon AWS Mobile Hub. Application of mobile cloud computing. Cloud computing is used everywhere, like for mobile commerce and mobile learning, mobile healthcare, mobile gaming, and many more. In mobile commerce, what happens? It is also known as m-commerce. It is a business model for commerce using mobile devices. So you can do all your transaction or your all your you can run all your projects over your cell phone, and computing will be done of your project as cloud provider. So your cell phone will be used just to access the interface of your result. So all the limitation that we discussed regarding your cell phone or mobile computing, that will be overcome by your cloud computing solution. And learning is there, mobile cloud learning, and in a traditional mobile based learning, what happens? Applications have limitation in terms of high cost of devices and network, low network transmission rate, and limited education resources. Definitely, if you are running any heavy software or any heavy amount of application or your on your cell phone, then battery lifetime of your cell phone will be degraded soon, and it cannot fulfill all the requirement or computing power requirement of your application. So for that purpose, if you are switching computing or of your application over the cloud provider, then it will be a better solution, because cloud-based mobile learning application are introduced to solve this limitation. You will get updated version of software, and you will get a scalability of your application immediately. You can scale requirement amount of resources from 1 terabyte hard disk to 20 petabyte of hard disk within just a few click of amount. For example, utilizing cloud with large storage capacity and powerful processing ability, application provide learner with much richer services in terms of data, information size, faster processing speed, and longer battery lifetime. And gaming is there. Suppose if you are running any high amount of game which require high computing on your cell phone, then your cell phone cannot fulfill all the requirement resources requirement of that game. So for that purpose, if you are using cloud services, so M game is that means computing of your game will be done at cloud provider, and your cell phone will be used just to display output of your game result. So mobile game is potential market generating revenue for service provider, and M-Game can completely offload game engine requiring large computing resource to the server in cloud, and games only interact with the screen interface on their data. So your cell phone will be used just for providing the interface for your game result. Now there are advantages of mobile cloud computing, like extended battery lifetime is there as compared to your mobile computing. Because if you are integrating your cell phone, your mobile computing with cloud computing, then your cell phone battery lifetime will be improved, as application will not be computing at local center, but application will be computing at data center. So definitely, if you are not using any computing power for your cell phone, then battery lifetime will be improved. Improving data storage capacity and processing power, because you are using processing power of data center or server which are configured in cloud provider. So storage power is also improved, processing power is also improved, improving reliability and availability. Your application will be reliable and it will be available at any time, anywhere. Just you need internet connectivity if you are accessing the mobile cloud services. Dynamic provisioning there, scalability, the remote application execution can have save energy significantly. So it will be sustainable computing also, because your application running over cloud data center, and it is not running at your own system. So already data center configured by cloud service provider, they are configured in such a manner so that they can fulfill the requirement of sustainable computing, and so that they can reduce amount of COD emitted by servers. Now, if some advantages are there, definitely there will be some limitation also there. So in mobile cloud computing, these are some of the issues. Not we cannot say these are limitations. These are just issues that need to be explored by researcher, industry person in future. Like security is a major concern. So one of the major concern with cloud computing is security of data. Often mobile user will provide sensitive information through network, and if not protected, can lead to major damages in the case of security breach. If you are accessing any services over the internet, then security will come into place. Definitely, if you are doing online transaction also, then also you need to be concerned about security. So security will be not from the cloud provider, but security will be during the transmission of data, during the networking communication, not from the data center point of view. Your data is secure at cloud data center, but there has to be some security concern that need to be explored in future when data is flowing in the internet. After that, you need connectivity. Internet connection is critical to mobile cloud computing, so you should make sure that you have good one before opting for these services. That means you need minimum amount of 256 kbps internet speed before accessing your cloud services over your mobile phone. These are some of the researchable issues that need to be explored in future, like operation level issues there and end user level issues there. In operational issues, it refers to underlying technological matters such as method of offloading computation, cost benefit model that aid in taking the decision to offload or not. So how you can offload, how you can improve the existing offloading technique like partial offloading and completely offloading for further efficient mechanism. Research is going in that fashion. In end user level issue, it refers to it led to issues that directly involve users, service level agreement, interoperability, and cost. There is a term SLA. SLA is basically agreement between client and cloud service provider who is going to provide the services to client. So in that agreement, some instruction or some statements will be there that at what amount of time you need to access your application and what amount of already configured bandwidth you will be using for your application. After that, service and application level issues, it basically relate to factor concerned with performance measurement of the system and quality of service of the system, like in what ways do mobile cloud computing system ensures availability, what are the fault tolerance mechanism employed to ensure smooth execution and uninterrupted services. So these are some of the researchable issues that need to be explored in future for mobile cloud computing. And as it is a new technology, so work is going on how to integrate the efficient offloading technique for mobile computing over the cloud computing. So we can conclude that cloud computing and mobile device will transform the software industry. So mobile cloud computing is the future. Now we will have a discussion session. Any query from any participant from remote center? Any of the query? Any query like how you can whatever we have discussed, how you can use cloud service provider services for your mobile computing purpose?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a query from Pipe.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So you have just presented a slide on researchable issues. So while you
Yes,
were
ma'am.
explaining, I too was having a thought that if you want to use cloud computing to provide education to those areas where there are no good schools or there is no updation of the technology. So as an electronics engineer, which of the researchable issues would be most significant for me?
Ma'am, you can offer that operation level issues for offloading technique. Basically, if you'll see good amount of journal like IEEE, elsewhere, Springer journal, then on offloading technique itself, research is going on. So you need to explore efficient offloading technique which will fulfill security concern also, and how load balancing will be performed while offloading your application, and what amount of sub module you need to be offload at cloud service provider so that cost may be minimized. So work is going on for the offloading technique, which is major big concern.
So does offloading connects only to those devices which are mobile? Like there was one point in that slide.
Yes, nice.
So is it only connected with those end users which are mobile?
Yes, ma'am. In mobile, your cell phone, basically, definitely, if you are talking about mobile computing integration with cloud computing, then we are concerned with because in starting we are seeing now preference of user is shifting from desktop computing to mobile computing. So if preference is shifting, that means if they need to run any high amount of application which require high computing power, bandwidth, and network and RAM, then there are some flaws in your cell phone. So in order to overcome that flow, if you are switching for a cloud service provider, so your cell phone will be acting just for getting the interface, not for running the application. So all the computing will be done at data center part, and there will not be any concern from user point of view. So offloading technique is basically concerned with your cell phone itself.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Ma'am. Any other query from any participant from remote center?
Sir.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Calling to fight.
Yes, sir.
Sir, is there any protocol behind working in cloud computing, sir?
Any? Please pardon.
Protocol, sir.
Protocol. Okay, actually, like we have discussed about if you want to build your own cloud. So they are working on OpenStack cloud, OpenStack tool. OpenStack is basically a tool for developed by open source community people. So once you create cluster-based system, then just creating the cluster of system, it will not provide any kind of cloud environment. So in order to provide cloud environment over your cluster system, you need to configure OpenStack tool. So OpenStack tool, what it will do, basically it will create a virtual image of your physical system. Once it created virtual image, virtual machine of your physical system, then those virtual machine can be configured based on your different requirement for giving the cloud environment. So OpenStack is a tool that is used behind the cloud service provider.
Yes, sir. Because this is software-based technique, sir. In this, first we have to install application. So for the application, there should be some kind of protocol. I think so, sir.
Definitely, sir. For accessing cloud, like if you are going to access cloud from your cell phone itself, then if you are using Windows platform, then you need PuTTY software, PuTTY client software, and if you are accessing cloud services from Linux platform, then you need a SSH mechanism, secure shell mechanism for accessing the cloud services.
Sir,
So
if I am
protocol,
using,
yes, sir.
sir, if I am using Google Drive
Okay,
software, if I want to extend the limit of this drive storage capacity, then what is the process for this, sir?
yes, sir. Actually, if you are using Google Drive, then it will come into storage as a service from a cloud provider. Now, Google Drive is free of cost with limited amount of storage from Google point of view. Now, in future, if you want to extend, then you can use storage as a service from the Google Cloud.
Yes, sir.
Any other query? Okay, welcome, sir.
Yes, from any other center we have any question?
Excuse me, sir. There is one more query from Pipe.
Yes, ma'am.
So the query is that you have told us about the Amazon voice service. So
Okay.
can you have a brief illustration of how it is linked to the cloud?
Actually, we have discussed about during that screenshot session. We were discussing how you can access cloud through Amazon machine image. So in that we have access various Linux instances, like we access Ubuntu instance. So just by configuration or just by accessing cloud services, actually basically these are available as a services as a product. So if you are going for MATLAB as a service, or if you are going for Hadoop as a service, or if you are going for Scilab is basically open source. So if you are, even if you are going for Scilab as a service, so these are available according to your requirement. What amount, which configuration of which subscription you are using over the cloud provider.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, man. Note apart from yes, any other query?
Yes, any other question?
Any query from any of the participants from remote center? Okay, thank you. Thank you all for listening this session. Even in future, if you face any problem, then you can contact me through my email ID. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all the centers. We will reassemble at 2:30 after the lunch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.